To all of you, Jai Hind. I welcome you to this session, and this is going to be the one of the most important sessions in the terms that we are going to discuss a lot about the current affairs. And when I say current affairs, it is all about what is there exactly into the newspapers, the magazines, etc. How do I filter out and how could I give you? I'm beginning with the pace. Today I have one topic, but do remember I'll increase on the topics depending upon how relevant they are. So I'll be discussing many topics. I hope you would be enjoying this. I have two things to do. Firstly, let me introduce. This is Chandramouli in front of you. And we are meeting on this platform, Let's Crack UPSC CSE English channel. Perhaps this whole Unacademy platform has become one of the largest ones where we have all such educators giving a lot of things. You can see imagine the educators that are giving you many experiences and observations that are there with them, and you can use them maybe. I hope it's audible, no? Yeah. So on 27th of March, we have the Civil Services Championship. Do apply for this. In the description there, no, you have this. So you can have this being enrolled right now. Don't wait for it. Enroll it right now and give the code of CMC. When you do this, your scorecard will be shared with me, and then I can give you some cavity filling of where to go about the things. And if your friends or relatives have cleared the mains round, do ask them to join our last mile, no, where the people who have already given a lot of interviews, they are having the experience, no, they are going to interact with them and give them some training. So you can see the board also here. Unacademy Lite subscription is 28 tests in 3149, 56 tests in 4409, and you can just see that too much affordable thing, and many tests are there. So you can practice a lot of things there. Iconic subscription, if anyone out there needs my mentorship support, and you need some mentorship, not only mentorship but mentorship plus plus. So this is what I have defined, mentorship plus plus, giving you notes and giving you a lot of things. This you'll have to take iconic subscription. I'll be your personal mentor. A lot of things that I'll strategize for you. And a good offer has come by, in which you have to just fill my code of CMC and you will get flat 20% off on this. So for 12 months or above, if you take plus combo, you have the actual price as 55517, but if you apply this code of CMC, you get 49965. Plus, along with this, you are going to have 3 months of extension. So if you take 12 months, it would be 3 months extension to it. Do remember, CMC is my code. If you take Iconic, I'll be there as your mentor with everything. Is this the continuation of yesterday's session that took place at Hindi channel? Yesterday, we could not have a session. Good evening, Jai Hind to all of you. You could not have a session yesterday, Kunal. And you can have this at a very affordable price, so 0% interest rate. EMI, you can make your own EMIs and can suit in this. This is the prime time. So we wanted to have the session yesterday also, but we could not have this yesterday. Okay, this is my Telegram channel. I hope you have already subscribed. Those who have still not, do this. And I want to begin with this image. But before that, I want to talk about today's very important positive quote that should come in your mind. And that is, Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha griyate. Only by practice you can achieve the highest of the feat. Only by practice you can become whatever you have in your mind. If you do not practice, you may lose whatever you even have. Try practicing questions, practicing study, practicing books. And that is where you feel that your assessment, when you do the assessment, no, then you try to understand where is the cavity and where I can fill it. In front of you is an image. And this image shouts loudly upon what is going to be the condition of this world, of this country, of South Asian region, and of any other place that is so much doing with the renewable energy. Prime time brings to you a very important concept and very important point about how to tackle with the waste generated out of the renewable energy production or the renewable energy devices. In front of you are these silicon chips or the cells that are used. These cells, when they are just flooded upon onto the land or to the water, they have their own life. Their life can be divided into some recycling life. And at the end of their recycling life, when they are just discarded, this is the image that you get. But before that, I go into venture out into some more things. I want to talk about some sort of facts that you should have in your head. The first thing is, why so much of hullabaloo about the solar wastage? Why? In the last year, if you say, in the last year itself, 12 months of last, maybe the times that have gone by, in 12 months, this solar energy has been grown so much I would say there was the growth of around 200%, the growth of around 200% in just last 12 months. And India has added somewhere around 12 to, I would say 10 to 12 gigawatt in this last year itself. The last year itself, that is to mean, I would say if we are so much increasing the installation of solar energy, are we prepared for its disposal or not? Got it? Got it? So the question is all about why are we so much interested is achieving 40% of its installed electricity capacity from the renewable energy. We have already done it. So 40% we have already achieved. And if I just try to break down what's written here, around from the solar we had around 48 gigawatt. Do remember we have already breached the 50 gigawatt also. We are heading towards 60 then 75. Wind has also come to around 41, 42. Small hydropower is 4.83. So don't remember much of it. What you have to understand is solar has come out as something that is so much focused upon. 50 plus gigawatt has been the installed capacity from just the solar energy. And this came into editorial the last day. That editorial talked about that if we have such installations happening, are we prepared with what is going to come by? So the first thing that we have to remember is why are we so discussing is number one, that we already are achieving the targets of renewable energy production. Now that gives me something in my head, and that is paradox. This is a paradox. At one end I talk about renewable energy production. At one end I talk about the disposal of the renewable energy instruments. It's a paradox. The more I am into the renewable energy production, the more I should be prepared about its disposal. The problem is that for this renewable energy production, I do have those cells, I do have those columns. But what about its disposal? What about its recycling? Are we prepared for it? It's a paradox. The more you develop, imagine, the more you work for the environment, the more you are threatening it. The more you are working towards the environmental concerns, the more you are actually threatening it. And the same could be seen here. It's a paradox. So they could ask you a question in mains examination. Just see, it's a paradox. At one point of time, you have much more of development, much more of greening activity, but this greening activity is causing some way via the back door some other thing happening. That is your paradox. So do remember a paradox word. I would want you to write this down. The resource use paradox. The resource use paradox. This is the resource use paradox. As rightly said by Kunal, this editorial was there yesterday, and it talked about should we venture into a circular economy. The budget speech this year, the budget document this year talked about much about the circular economy. And that means I am trying to move from something as linear today, something is linear today where the producer produces, the consumer consumes, and the waste is only discarded, thrown away. This is a linear system that is functional today. It's a linear system. Imagine the linear system into the environment can be hazardous. It has been proving hazardous. The linear system in economy can be hazardous. It is only when you have a circular form of the production and consumption, a circular form of renewable energy production, a circular form of economy, it is only then that you are able to discard it well, dispose it well. And that came about for this budget speech. I am expecting maybe for the mains part that can I get some keywords. The first keyword is transitioning from your linear to circular economy, and it could be applied everywhere, not only for energy but for infrastructure also, for your economy also. A circular economy is always better than an existing linear one, or if linearity is there everywhere, anywhere, it is going to be hazardous in some point of time. So that brings me about to a discussion about what this circular economy could be. This circular economy could be about the 3 R's that we all know, the 3 R's. That is your reduce, reuse, and recycle. Added to by refurbishment. Refurbishment, that means You could imagine today, no, your older phones, mobile phones, they could be refurbished. They could be just tried to, the repairs could be done and it could be again used. That is refurbishment. Second could be recovering and repairing. So the 3 R's along with refurbishment, recovering of the things, whatever they are, plus repairing of the materials, these could bring about your circular economy, and that is the need of the day. I'm just trying to give you a hint towards what happens to the photovoltaic panels in 2050. Just a scenario that I want to give you. Yes, mobile refurbished ones are used many, and they have good cost also. Okay, please imagine the cumulative waste volumes of the top 5 countries for end of life PV panels in 2050. China is at the helm. So there are 2 scenarios. One is early loss scenario and one is a regular scenario. Any scenario when you look towards to know, it shows that China is the helm of it because it is so much of interested. It's so much interested into your solar energy that it is just bringing about the solar panel. Why not? It has got all the rare earth material with it. All the rare earths, all such things are there with it. Why it is not going to make it? So rare earth is there in China making a lot of panels. USA on the other hand is again having a lot of investment being done into this renewable thing. Japan is also coming up. But the curious case of India, we are coming up a faster pace. If I would compare the pace among all these countries, India has been moving with a faster pace. Number one, the position is, why are we moving at a faster pace? Is number one, our demand. And number two, since we are piloting the renewable energy at the global level, and hence we are actually coming about with a lot of renewable energy sources, and solar energy stands at the helm of it. Hence, we are piloting the international order in renewable energy. Do write down this point, very important one. The demand is there, but piloting this whole of your international order because of this renewable energy. I bring to you something that you have to do, and that is the budget says that you can use some cleaner technologies and you can see for some circular one. We need an efficient waste management ecosystem. Now, when I say that, we need some efficient waste management ecosystem. What that would mean? That means this ecosystem is not one just component. The ecosystem is we have to be prepared with everything that meets your energy demand and is being embedded in it. There are certain resources that came into that editorial that I would like to quote down here, and maybe this first one should be used somewhere in your answers. It is IRENA, and that is your International Renewable Energy Agency. International Renewable Energy Agency that says that India's total installed solar capacity could be as high as 325 kilotons by 2030. This is what we are installing by 2030. We have even to go to 2075, 2060. That is going to increase. Have this been so much loaded or not loaded, I think we would not have that much of problem. But this is again having a life that is again end and it will be discarded. 325 kilotons by 2030 only. Imagine what will happen by 2050. And there is a research done by a consulting private firm that says that market for battery recycling will be around 23 gigawatt hours by 2030. That means we are actually using the batteries also, and we are just trying to have a refurbishment of that or use it again and again. Two things that you can remember. The solar panels are not only producing electricity, they are also aided by some equipments that can store the energy. The batteries market are governed by your solar market. There is a dependency of battery market on the solar market, and hence when the solar market is growing, the batteries market will have to grow. And when it happens, you can just see what is the fact that I want you to write down. Let's move ahead. Another estimation that has come by says that, no, you cannot remember all the estimations, you don't have to do so. Just see what am I talking about. Some estimation says that India would need over 5630 gigawatt of solar and 1792 gigawatt of wind energy to achieve its net zero target as we have promised by 2070. We are going to bring about a net zero emission by 2070. For this, we might need 5630 gigawatt of solar. Just imagine solar has gone so ahead of the wind and we want 5630 gigawatt of solar. That would require much of photovoltaic cells. That would require much of battery. And these are the sources that are going to degrade also over time. So what is the solution to all this? The first solution that any one of us could say is, though, let's start about an ecosystem based management approach. Ecosystem based management approach is something that you will have to quote down. You will not find it in the news items, but this is something that I want you to understand. Based management approaches are there. There is an extended producer responsibility that is working well. But it is not only the thing that it is produced in India. You have a complex structure where there are manufacturers, the producers, where there are assemblers, where there are maybe the people who are there into the trade, there are people who are distributing, there are people who could have some cycle end or maybe some part or the component being made there. Your ecosystem talks about the producer responsibility. What about the distributor? What about the importers? What about the assemblers? You will have to make an ecosystem approach where anything that is being brought about, anything when it comes up, it should all be treated into a one component, and there should be one component law over it, that this ecosystem has to be working well then. So ecosystem based management approach must be there. This is not a term of the paper, so please write it down. This is the paper, this is the term that I am giving you. Ecosystem based management approach that requires an law for one component that is applied in all. Ecosystem based management approach, the first one that you can talk about. Second, that is very clear, and that said that since you don't have much of the options, you have got great land. No one sees for them. It's so much of an informal sector there. And hence what happens is lot of dumping and lot of burning that can easily happen, and no one is there to check about this. This dumping has caused about the metals of these cells, the metals in these batteries to leach. And once they start leaching, it's all there into the water that we drink, contamination that is there. And if you burn, you are going to have sulfur dioxide and whatnot. These gases are just make you or will just make you choke down. So you will have to see this. My actually component or my law must also be to see all these facilities, and I must give them an alternative. How would I give them an alternative is, number one, establish a compound industry. Establish an industry which can be called as your dumping industry. Imagine what is black, maybe this bad bank. What is bad bank? You will not get these terms, so I'm trying to define it for you. Bad banks, we all know. Can we have the bad industries? Can we have the bad industries on the lines of bad bank? Can we have these? If yes, do understand what these are going to do. So whatever obnoxious activities may be going on, or whatever may be the emissions things that are going on, I must try to take up that, and I'm establishing a bad industry to take up what negative you are doing. I'm just trying to sit there. I have the funds. I'm thriving upon your bad emission activities, and I can rectify them. That is your, on the lines of the bad bank. These are your bad industries. Imagine. You will not find these words. Please write it down. Do write it down. So the first option that I give you is an ecosystem based management approach. The second one is making up of bad industries on the lines of bad banks that take up the bad or the negative things that others are going to do. Now that requires some sort of fund. How would you have the fund? Let's allow the credit facilities. Let's allow the credit facilities to these bad industries. That means the credit facilities must have some sort of favor, and that favor should be less or reduced interest rates. Reduced interest rates must be there. The reduced interest rates must be there. Then only you are going to have a bad industry coming up. Let them set up into SEZ. Let them set up anywhere and allow them some tax rebate. Allow them to prosper first, then you can think of the taxes, allow them to prosper first. This is what you would require. Next, you will require the very important thing, and that is research. I think we have talked about research in dose of notes. Again, I would like to give you some point of time. Our research and development is so poor as compared to other countries that it has come to a plateau. It has come to a plateau, and we don't spend much in research and development. The time has now really come to increase this research and development maybe expenditure, so that we can think about such technologies that are going to make the greener technologies green. The greener technologies could be a paradox. There should be a research going on to make these greener technologies really green. Otherwise, whatever we are looking towards to today may not be green as such. May not be green as such. So that was about the one item that I found, and that was circular economy. That was about this solar thing that came by. I found it very interesting, and I wanted you to write down a few facts and the main point. Now, I hope you would have liked this session. So on this maybe line only, what I'm trying to do is I'll bring about few topics. I'll bring about these few topics into this prime time, and we discuss it here. And I would request you to keep on jotting down the points. Just do make down the notes though. Do make the notes from it. Is it fine? You will have to jot down the points from here itself. Will that do? That will be all from my side today. Let's meet tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much. And today we have a special class at 10 and 11 too. So plus subscription, if you have to take 433 per month, if you apply the code of CMC, you get in 3899. Iconic is 6208 per month. If you apply the code of CMC, you get in 5587. And if you're looking for Iconic, I think there are many who have already come under this mentorship support. And I am now bound to give them notes and a lot of things. Optional is 2292 per month. If you come under the code of CMC, you get 2063 per month. Batches have already launched from today itself. You can see for them. And this place has been becoming wonderful. A lot of things are already going on. Test series, MCQ based crash course, a lot of things are already there. Unacademy store we have already opened up. You can see in the Pusa Road, Old Rajendra Nagar. You can go and visit there. And score booster test is running by 15 questions, 15 minutes. You can click to enroll in the description below. 10 a.m. it happens. Plus 3 mega test series. The Hindu happens on Wednesdays. CSAT happens on Saturday. And that would be all for. Thank you for taking English, sir. This channel belongs to English preparation only, so you have to do in that only. But on the other channel, no, you can have the Hindi also coming by, and that too in the its pristine sort of, I would say, beauty. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So that will be all from my side. Thank you so much. Take care, enjoy, and Jai Hind. Let's meet tomorrow, and let's meet in the special class today also. Thank you so much. Take care.